All right, hi everybody. Let's go over the homework together. Hopefully it wasn't too bad. Maybe some of them were a little tricky. Let's look at number 12. It's saying 12a. If a die is rolled, so if we have just one die, what is the probability of getting a 4? This is just 1 over 6. Because what's the sample space? You can only get a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, or a 6. And what's the probability of getting that 4? It's 1 out of the 6 possible outcomes. Okay. What's the probability of getting an even number? Well, how many even numbers are there? There's 2, 4, and 6. So notice that it's 3 over 6, or it has to be a half, because don't forget, you have to reduce the fraction. Okay, let's look at the next one. It says, what's the probability of getting a number greater than 4? Well, what are the numbers greater than 4? It's only 5 and 6. So notice that it's 2 over 6, or we're going to say it's 1/3 when you reduce the fraction. What's the probability of getting a number less than 0? Well, which one of these numbers are less than 0? None of them. So we're just going to say 0 over 6 or just 0. This is impossible. You cannot roll a die and get a negative number or something less than 0. What about letter E? Let's see. It says, what is the probability of getting a number greater than 3 or an odd number? Okay, I could see maybe some of you maybe wanted to check out the last two very quickly, because this idea of or gets a little tricky. So let's see. Let's just break this down one at a time. What's the probability? All right, tell me all possible. What are all possible rolls that are greater than 3? So what are all possible rolls greater than 3? It's a 4, a 5, or a 6. So notice that if you get a 4, 5, or 6, you satisfy the top condition. Well, how can you satisfy the bottom condition if you get an odd number? It's only 5. But notice that 5 is also part of this. So the idea is you have 3 out of 6 rolls that satisfy this condition, or it's a half. Now watch how the next question's a little bit different. What's the probability of getting a number greater than 3? So what are the numbers greater than 3? You have 4, 5, and 6. But of these numbers that you rolled, one of these numbers also has to be an odd number. So notice that this won't work and this won't work. So notice that 5 is the only roll that satisfies this condition, that it has to be greater than 3 and it has to be an odd number. And this idea of or, either you satisfy this or you satisfy this. Okay? Now, I'm going to tell you right now, this idea in probability, or and are very, very tricky. In chapter 4.2, we're going to really go over this idea of or and. So this was just like a little warm-up. All right? Let's look at the next one. Here, for 13, it's saying, imagine if we have 2 dice, right? What is the probability that you get a sum of 6? So what can you do to get a sum of 6? Let's see. Let me zoom in my camera a little bit. So you could get what? You could get a 1 and a 5. Okay, you could get a 2 and a 4. You could get a 3 and a 3. You could get a 4 and a 2. You can get a 5 and a 1. Okay, so notice that this is 5 out of 36. And can you simplify that? No, you cannot. What is the chance of doubles? Notice that you could get a 1, 1, a 2, 2, a 3, 3, a 4, 4, a 5, 5, and a 6, 6. So notice how many possible outcomes are there for this one. It's 6 over 36, or you could say 1 out of 6. Right? A sum of 7 or 11. Okay, this is a nice one. Here, then keyword or, right? So if I get a 7, I'm okay. If I get 11, I'm okay. So let's see, how can we get a 7? I could do 1 and 6, 2 and 5, 3 and 4, 4 and 3, 5 and 2, and 6 and 1. Okay? These are all possible ways of getting a 7. Now, how can I get an 11? I could get, let's see, I could do 5 and 6 or 6 and 5. That is the only way you can do it. So notice how many possible ways do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 over 36, or that's equal to what? 4 over 18, or 2 over 9. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Sum of greater than 9. So if I get a 10, 11, or a 12, I'm okay. So how can I get a 10? I could do 5 and 5. I'm sorry, no. I mean, yes, you can do 5 and 5, but before that, you could do 4 and 6, 5 and 5, and 6 and 4. So this is the only way you could get a 10. Or I'm sorry, a sum of 10. How can you get a sum of 11? We could get 5 and 6, or 6 and 5. And how can you get a 12? You can only get it with a 6 and a 6. So notice we have 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 6 over 36, or we have a 1 in 6 chance of rolling 2 dice, and the sum of the 2 dice is greater than 9. Okay, let's try this one. It says a sum less than or equal to 4. So what is everything less than 4? It is 1, 2, I'm sorry. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, and what's the other one? It says equal to 4, right? So this is 4. Notice that if I have 2 dice, what's the lowest sum I could get? The lowest sum you could get is a 2. It's impossible to get a 1 if you add the 2 values of 2 rolls on a dice. So notice 1 is not even a possibility. So how can you get a 2? The only way you could get a 2 is a 1 and a 1. How can you get a 3? You could get a 1 and a 2, or a 2 and a 1. And how can you get a 4? You could get a 1 and a 3, a 2 and a 2, or a 3 and a 1. And that's it. Because if I roll something less than a 4, or if I get a 4, I satisfy this condition. And these are all the rolls that satisfy that condition. So notice that this is 6 over 36, which is equal to 1 over 6. Happy face. Okie dokie. Let's try the last one. Here, if you have a deck of cards, what is the probability of getting an ace? Notice how many aces are in the deck. There are 4 aces, and there are 52 cards in a deck. So notice, what's 4 over 52? That's 2 over 26, which is 1 over 13. Okay? How many diamonds are in the deck? Ooh, that's a good one. So here, if I took out all the diamonds, notice there's 1 of each suit. So just so we have an idea, diamond. And if you want, if you feel like you already know this answer, you could fast forward. But if you just want to see it for yourself, because I know some of you are not used to a deck of cards. You should have fun with cards though. And I know this really cool magic trick, but I can't show it to you now. Maybe if we get back together. But alright, let's take a look here. So we have ace. What's the next one? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, jack, queen, king. So notice how many diamonds are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So there are 13 diamonds. There are 13 hearts, 13 clubs, 13 spades, right? So there are 13 over 52, which is the same as 1 over 4. Okay. How many red cards are there? There are 26 out of 52, or there's a half. Now let's look at this one. Picking up a 4 or a club. Now, no. Oh. Actually, you know what? Skip this question. I did not want to ask you this question. All right. I will answer this next class. But if you want to know the answer, it should be what is it? 16 over 52, which is 8 over 26, which is 4 over 13. Okay. Pinky promise I'll show this in the next video. I wanted to skip this question because of that word or. Okay. A face card. A face card, I should have said this in the last video. What is a face card? A face card has to have a face. So which are the only cards that have faces are the jacks, the queens, and the kings. Well, how many jacks are there? 4. How many queens are there? 4. How many kings are there? 4. So there are 12 out of 52 face cards, which is what is that? That is 3 over 13, right? Wait. Yeah, 3 over 13. Yeah. Okay, a black queen. How many black queens are there? There's only the... There are only 2 black queens. Okay, so this is 2 over 52, which is 1 over 26. All right, let's look at the next one. A red card or a black card. Here, this was 52 over 52, where it equals 1. Because every card in the deck is either red or black. Okay? A king and an ace. So this is 0 over 52, because there is no card that is a king and that is also an ace. So this is 0. Okay, everybody. Lots of smiley faces. Hopefully 4.1 wasn't too bad, and that this first video for the series was just kind of like, here, feel it out. The next video I'll have for you is 4.2, and that'll be up, very soon. I hope you enjoyed this lesson and the homework. Take care.